ESPN, I think this is an interesting topic. Their Monday Night Football booth has been anything but spectacular these last few years. Really, ever since John Gruden left and went back into coaching with the Raiders, they have not been able to find any sort of combination that's worked. And really, any sort of combination they've thrown out there hasn't even been average. It's been pretty poor. Whether it's Jason Witten, now it's Booger McFarland. You have all three of them in the booth at the same time. They just went with Booger. ESPN has really tried hard. They've tried to make this a huge production, really try to keep it a must watch. And by doing so, I think have tried too hard. Even it feels like watching with Joe Tessitore, who I used to love when he did college football. It feels like he's trying too hard. Like he's trying to inject drama on every single play. He's trying too hard to captivate and make a 3-yard run on second down in the first quarter is the biggest play that we've ever seen in football history. And that gets old really quick. Joe Tessitore was great in college because what he would do is he would play to the moment, and especially in college when, let's be honest, the games are crazier because when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids, a lot that's supposed to go right doesn't go right. So that leads to crazier endings, bigger blown leads, bigger plays. So he was perfect for that because he would really bring out the drama and a lot of these big plays and exciting finishes that would happen. The NFL's a little different. Not that the NFL is boring, let's say, but the NFL is more buttoned up. So there's less likely of a huge play going through. It's less likely of a big lead being blown compared to college football. College football is sloppier. But with that sloppiness comes excitement and comes drama. So it feels like Joe Tessitore is trying too hard sometimes to try to inject more drama than is really there. And again, that gets, it gets old quick. And whether it's Jason Witten being just totally unprepared for broadcasting, throwing him right into the limelight when he was obviously not ready. And Booger McFarland, he was good when he was on the sideline in that ridiculous obstruction that was the Booger Mobile that, fans who paid great money for their seats loved seeing him blocking their view of their game as he's just motoring around on this ridiculous vehicle for what? I really don't know. But that was ESPN's, again, idea of dressing it up to where they're trying to bring you in outside of just the game, right? Great broadcasters. There's a reason why Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are great. There's a reason why Tony Romo and Jim Nantz are great. And a lot of these broadcast teams are great is because for the most part, they just react to what's going on and they give you what you need to know. They don't try to hype things up extra. They don't try to be someone they're not. Like Tony Romo, for example, right? He's a captivating kind of character. He's a guy that brings a lot of charisma to the booth. And sure, people, some people don't like him calling out plays before. I think it's interesting, and I think it does add something. That's who he is. He's not trying to be someone that he's not. His natural character, let's say, and just his natural personality is brought out really great on television. And that's been great with Jim Nantz, setting him up, and they've had a great duo together. ESPN, I think, sees this, and is trying their best to mimic that. And the latest thing they're trying to do is go basically the same route CBS went, and that is to try to bring Drew Brees, at some point when he retires, into their Monday Night Football booth. Now, when he was in the debating stage whether he's going to retire or come back, ESPN was trying hard. They're going to pay him a lot of money to come in. Obviously, Drew Brees says he's going to come back, signed a 2-year contract with New Orleans. But even ESPN, that still hasn't stopped them. They're still trying to go hard after Drew Brees. They're already offering him a contract for next season, for 2021, Monday Night Football booth. And they're doing whatever they possibly can to try to get a big name and try to get a sexy name in there to kind of revitalize Monday Night Football, let's say. And to me, just keep it simple. Even in these rumors that they have now where they're, despite not saying that Joe Tessitore and Booger McFarland are out, they're openly shopping and thinking about and brainstorming other ideas of who could replace them this year. There's even a rumor last week that Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, two greats on college football, really two faces of college football, especially for ESPN, are being considered to move over to Monday nights. And to me, they're trying too hard. They're trying to bite their nose off to spite their face. What they're doing is putting two fish who are great in salt water, let's say in college football, and put them in fresh water where they don't belong with the NFL. Kirk Herbstreit was talking to Pat McAfee last week on his show. He came out flat out and said his passion for the NFL isn't what it is for college football. He would do the job, but not at the cost and not at the expense of cutting his college game day duties and cutting his play-by-play for ESPN duties. So think about that. Worst case scenario, if ESPN wants to put an already dynamic duo for college football, something that really works, They would have to then already increase a busy schedule and a busy workload for these two by having them call games at night, have Herbstreit do College Game Day on Saturday, and then call Monday Night Football on Monday, with a guy who already, again, said his passion for the NFL is not there and not the same for what it is for college football. Just keep it simple. And this is what I mean by that. ESPN has great NFL analysts. Two of those that I think would be great in this situation, if you want to choose one or the other or go both, is Dan Orlovsky and Louis Riddick. And both are fantastic because they don't say anything crazy. They're not hot take artists. What they do is really what we want from any broadcast. They see what's going on, they digest, and because Dan Orlovsky was a player, Louis Riddick was in the front office, they know what is going on, and they know the idea of the play, what was supposed to be accomplished, and they can explain it in ways that are understandable for me and you. That's what we want. We don't want complicated football jargon. We don't want it dumbed down for dummies, right? Football for dummies. They are both because they both can explain. If you watch, ESPN where Dan Orlovsky's on Get Up a lot in the morning, Louis Riddick kind of bounces all around. He's late at night with Scott Van Pelt. He's in the morning. He's in the afternoon. He's just basically a great NFL analyst. Those two are both great at explaining concepts in an easy way and making fans smarter and understand what's going on. They don't keep it complicated. They don't dumb it down too much. They keep it to where you know what's going on, to where the casual fan understands this is why that play, it looked terrible. This is what they're trying to do and why it was so close to happening. This is why that throw made no sense, but this is what he was seeing. Sure, okay, maybe it's not as crazy as we thought. There's no need to make it sexy. There's no need to try to give us something that's not there. There's no need to try to add added drama just for the sake of trying to make things captivating so you stay around for the next commercial break. Keep it simple. For the most part, we're tuning in for the game anyway. We're not tuning in because Booger McFarland or Joe Tessitore or Tony Romo or Jim Nantz are calling the game. Most of the time, we watch games for our team playing, for fantasy purposes, or because it's a great matchup. I've never once found myself clicking through games, looking for a game specifically because X broadcaster's on this game. Now, it's a bonus, sure, if you get a great broadcaster on a game you're already planning to watch. That's great. Don't get me wrong. But broadcasters are like officials and referees. When you don't notice them, that's when they are great. For the most part, we've noticed the ESPN Monday Night Football booth these last few years, and it's been all for the wrong reasons. Stuff they say, not realizing what's going on, telling teams to call timeout or spike the ball on fourth down. There's a lot of brain fart moments that happen, and that happens to everyone. Trust me, I have my fair share of them all the time. Every show, you could find 3 or 4 things I said that make no sense or is a total brain fart. Those things happen, but to happen on a consistent basis is not good. And again, it really hurts the product of the game for Monday Night Football. And I feel like at least, ESPN needs to put these people in a position to succeed. They have not done that. To me, at least, 2 great options, Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick. Boom, right there. Put one or both in the booth, I think, for 2020 will be a great, great addition. And keeping it simple, promoting from within. I think that will yield the best results and really give the fans the best experience watching the game. Drew Brees, for all we know, could be great. We have zero clue, to be honest, what Drew Brees will be like in a broadcast booth. It's no guarantee that former players, former quarterbacks, will all of a sudden be fantastic analysts. And especially, too, when you take a player right from the field to the booth. It happened with Tony Romo, great. They tried with Jason Witten, it failed miserably. There's no guarantee, there's no blueprint, there's no outline that says, oh, we do this formula, boom, this person's going to be great. It all depends on the person, the personality. ESPN needs to realize this, realize what they have. 2 great analysts already. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try for the big show pony and Drew Brees or Peyton Manning. They're going for the big name, for the star to bring you in. If you keep it simple, I promise you, you hire either or both. Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, or maybe I'm forgetting another NFL analyst. It will reap benefits and be the best thing ESPN's ever done. The NBA is an idea not to resume the league, not to resume the season or start the playoffs, but at least a way to keep us entertained and to keep us engaged, per se, just something to watch. NBA is trying this, and they have tried this. They tried to stage a 2K NBA tournament. Some people got into it last week, but they're starting to throw out another idea that I'm actually into, and that is NBA would stage a horse competition. ESPN would broadcast it, and how it would work is basically these players stuck in their homes, obviously, but those who have a hoop would basically live stream and play digital horse, let's say, where you would have a player in their backyard take a shot, and the other players have to basically follow it up somehow as close to possible from wherever they are at home and whatever setup they have to face that. And I think I'm into this. So far, players confirmed to be in: Chris Paul, Trae Young, Zach LaVine. Now, they also plan on having WNBA players and recent NBA alums to play as well. So they have a nice mix of different players from different areas, current players, recent players, WNBA players. So they have a nice mix of people that are going to be participating. And especially doing this from home, I think that could add to the fun. If this was in a gym, I honestly might be more skeptical because there's so much creativity you can do. There's only so many different weird angle or deep shots you can take. I think from doing it from your house is where this makes it really intriguing, and I think that's why I'm going to be the one tuning in. Are you going to take shots from the roof? Are you going to have an indoor setup to where, let's say, maybe you have a loft on the second floor and you're going to be shooting inside the house? Are you going to be doing it to where maybe you're driving in the car, driving down the street, shooting into the hoop on your driveway? There's so much creativity that can go on now with playing horse that I think, especially from your house, with what the setup the players have, I'm all in. I think I'm going to watch whenever it is confirmed and setting up. I think this is a great idea by the NBA and ESPN to give us content that is compelling and willing to watch. I like old games, depending on, what games they are. But, those can get old, and especially if no sports resume the next month, 2 months, 3 months. There's only so many games you can replay that I'll get into that I'll, sit for 2 or 3 hours to rewatch. And really, the one thing we need right now is kind of live sports, some unknown competition to where we don't know who's going to win. We don't know what they're going to do next. And I think in this case, I'm in. I mean, I guess I do think the house part of it, doing from home and just seeing how creative players can get using what they have around them, is the biggest draw for me. I'm not the biggest fan of the NBA skills competition, which, again, I feel like if this was in a gym, it would be different because there's so much creativity you can do. The dunk contest, I really haven't gotten into, to be honest. It's just, I don't know. I mean, again, there's only so much you can do. I do appreciate the creativity that a lot of these players have and come up with some ideas, but it doesn't hold me and captivate me the way I think this horse competition would. Think about it. You have, without being guarded, so many of these players, any of them, recent NBA alums, current players, WNBA players, they'll make, if it's in an open gym, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 shots. So now, at least to add the element of doing it from home and having the chance to where a lot of these players will match and hit a lot of these crazy shots, I think that'll make it so much fun. So I'm all in. I would love to get your thoughts because, again, who knows where they'll shoot it from? Shoot it from the roof. Shoot it from their bedroom outside. Shoot it, again, maybe sit on top of a car, drive down the street, shoot it. There's just so many ways and so many different creative avenues that these players can think of. And to watch it live, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And, whether they want to add commentators like Jeff Van Gundy, get him in there. Oh, could you imagine Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson commenting on this horse competition? Talking about how Chris Paul is shooting a shot from, let's say, his inside his garage, bouncing it 3 times somehow, just doing this crazy shot, and just hearing Jeff Van Gundy rant on about how back in his day, these would never take these shots. These players, are so spoiled. They have it so easy. Look at this house. He's shooting it from his pool. Back in my day, if we were playing horse, we were playing on the schoolyard, me and you. Mark Jackson, I'm sure, would probably try to fight Jeff Van Gundy in some way. I think it'd be entertaining. I think there's a lot of potential and possibility here to do it. I'm usually not into sort of these, I don't want to say hokey competitions, but just forced competitions, let's say, to where these leagues are trying to get anything out there. I think this has a legitimate chance of working. I'm in. I'll tell you, yeah, are you into it? Because obviously, NBA is doing it for us, the fans. They hope that people are really itching for some sports to return. They're hoping that you'd be interested and tune in. Otherwise, they wouldn't go through this creation. I think that's a ton of potential. I think so far when you have Chris Paul, Trae Young especially. I think he's probably the name, to be honest, that really got me in this the most. Because we see Trae Young pull up from 35, 40 feet almost regularly during games. Imagine what he's going to do at home now when he has so many different shots and so many different locations at his disposal to shoot from. And we know how good he is and the high percentage he shoots from deep. I'd love to see some of the ideas that he comes up with specifically. And who knows who else could join. So I think it'll be a ton of fun. And you have recent NBA alums. You have WNBA players. So I think it's a great mix of different players that could get in on this. And I think that make it a lot of fun and really, really make it interesting.